welcome to another edition of my top 20 albums of all time. Favorite albums, here they are. They're not in order. Don't hassle me. They are just 20 of my favorite albums, and it's not easy whittling them down to these favorite 20s, as I'm sure you could imagine. And maybe if I were to do this 2 months from now, half of these would be different. I'm saying the things you've all heard from other people say, and you know what the drill is, so let's just get going. 1985, we get Simple Minds, Once Upon a Time. I, like a lot of people in the United States, wasn't familiar with this band until Don't You Forget About Me came out with the Breakfast Club soundtrack. And I thought that was a good song, but, you know, it didn't make me rush out and want to find out everything there was to find out about this band or listen to any of their other records or anything. But when this came out and Alive and Kicking came out, the video especially, I remember seeing it, and I just really loved that tune. And I went out and picked up this album and really became a fan, really liked this album. I mean, it's short, well, not short, but there's only 8 songs on it, but all 8 songs are great, so there's no filler in my opinion. You got Once Upon a Time, All the Things She Said, Ghost Dancing, Oh Jungle Land, Alive and Kicking, I Wish You Were Here, Sanctify Yourself, Come a Long Way, Come a Long, Long Way. Great songs. I love them all. I wish I went and saw these guys live back then. I've seen them live. I saw them in New York a few years ago, and it was a good show, you know. I would have loved to have seen them back here. I remember having, somebody, when I got this record and became a fan, maybe the year after, in 86, I remember there was like a live concert on maybe an MTV or something called Ahoy. It was from this, I don't know if it's in Rotterdam, the arena, Ahoy. And I remember I had a friend, I didn't have cable at the times, but I had a friend, like, I gave him a VHS tape, and I was like, hey, can you record that for me? And I remember having that for the longest time to watch, you know, but real energetic band. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Simple Minds, but this is my favorite record by them. 1981, Agent Orange, Living in Darkness. I got into Agent Orange a few years after this album came out. I was reading about them in Thrasher magazine and Trans World Skateboarding magazine. They'd always talk about this band, mention them, so I was like, well, let me check out what that's all about. And I picked up When You Least Expect It, their EP on cassette, and I really liked that. And then I picked up their album, This Is the Voice, when that came out, and I just really liked it. I don't know why I never went back and picked this up, you know. I don't know, back then, I mean, I don't think I'd ever see this record, like, in the store. So I don't know. I just maybe wasn't even aware of this record. And everybody who knows Agent Orange back then, they all know Bloodstains, which is on here. And I wasn't familiar with that song at all, not till a few years later. And I got to see them live a couple of times. They're still out playing shows. Mike Palm's the only original dude there. But still worth going to see live. They still put on a good show. They don't really have a ton of music available. They've only got, you know, maybe 3 or 4 albums. There's a lot of different compilations that have been put out over the years, but there's really only I think 3 or 4 studio albums that they have released. I got this album. This was when I got the record player. This was one of the first records that I picked up. And it's awesome. I think this is it's on blue vinyl. You can see that. I'm not going to go to too much trouble taking that out. You all know what blue vinyl looks like. But the tunes on here, great, fast punk, charging tunes. Too Young to Die, Everything Turns Gray, my favorite tune. Mr. Lou, The Last Goodbye, No Such Thing, Cry for Help in the World Got Mad, Bloodstains, and Living in Darkness. All awesome tunes. Every one of them is great. Got your lyrics there. Great album. Can't go wrong with this one if you want to get into a little Agent Orange. This is certainly a good place to start, or the best place to start. 1997, Goldfinger, Hang Ups, another Southern California band. Goldfinger, of course, kind of part of that whole whatever third wave ska thing going on in the mid 90s. late 90s, No Doubt, Goldfinger, Less Than Jake, Mighty Mighty Bosstones, who had been around before that, but they kind of had a big hit around then too. This is Goldfinger's second album, I guess second of like official record. I think there might have been an EP or something before their first record, but I love this song, album. I remember when it came out, I picked it up immediately. I already had the debut, and I picked up the CD when it came out, and just listened to it like non-stop. Nothing special there. It's like a little Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood Walk of Fame star that they scribbled their name on. We got, they did, this is basically like what the CD booklet was. It was like a kind of fake yellow pages. And of course, a couple of different lineup changes over the years, but this was a great record. I've seen them live a few times. I saw them live when this came out and a couple of times since. But I just remember listening to this CD constantly. Superman, I think, was the first single. My Head, This Lonely Place, 20 Cent Goodbye, I Need to Know, The Last Time, Chris Caton, It Isn't Just Me. It Isn't Just Me and Chicken McNuggets, I believe, were like hidden tracks on the CD, if I'm not mistaken. It Isn't Just Me, maybe. No, It Isn't Just Me, I think, was a hidden track, and Chicken McNuggets. But great record. You like that old 1990s, late 90s kind of punk, ska, revival, kind of rock, alternative tunes. This is a great record. Definitely worth checking out. My favorite by them, obviously, or it wouldn't be in this list that I'm compiling here of my 20 favorite records. And then, of course, the album, oops, I'm going to drop everything here, has that same telephone, like the yellow pages. It's got the telephone, old rotary dial telephone, and vinyl is kind of this red, little kind of marbly thing going on there. I love this record. It's a great album. For some reason, it's gatefold, but for some reason my memory is this was a 2 LP, that they split onto 2 LPs, but it's not, it's just one. 1995, we get, wait a minute, what is this? This is a novel? No, it's Belly's album King on this kind of cool book package. I bought this from the band's website. They were kind of getting rid of a bunch of merch, and they were selling this for pretty cheap. I mean, I think I got it, I want to say for less than $10. I'm not sure. I bought the CD when it came out in 1995. I remember I was a fan, like a lot of people, of Geppetto and Feed the Tree on their previous album, Star. And when this came out, I remember, I think Now They'll Sleep was Super Connected, or Now They'll Sleep was the first song. And I remember seeing the video and hearing the song, and I really liked it. I just went out and picked up the CD, and I remember driving that summer across country. I moved to Los Angeles. I remember driving across country, and I listened to this quite a bit on that drive. And then when I got to Los Angeles and I had no money or no job, I was like sitting in my room a lot listening to this CD kind of nonstop all summer, just doing some writing and stuff. But this was on constantly, to the point where I think my roommates were sick of hearing me play this, all the time. But it's a great record, and it's kind of a cool little package, this book here. The tunes on here is Puberty, Seal My Fate, it's great. Red was my favorite, I loved that song. Super Connected, Silverfish, The Bees, Now They'll Sleep, Judas My Heart, great songs. I remember even seeing them on a show that summer. They were like when the FX network started. I think it was kind of like the channel didn't know what it wanted to be, and they had like a music show. I think it was called Sound Effects, like Sound FX, and I remember seeing them perform The Bees on there, which was pretty cool. But I don't think I feel like I've looked on YouTube for that clip, but I don't think I've seen it. But great band, great album. They reunited not too long ago and put out a new record that is that I liked a lot. It's a little mellower, I think. I mean, they're a little mellow to begin with, I guess, maybe, but maybe not. But but it's a good record. I hope they put out a couple more records going forward. I hope they continue to put out some new music together. Good band. Got to see them live when they reunited, and I think I saw them at Webster Hall. But great show. Belly King. 1990, we get Sidewinders, Auntie Ramos Pool Hall. Would hear these guys when this album came out. Would hear them on FM 106.3, our radio station we were listening to. We Don't Do That Anymore was the big song that they would play a lot. And I think it did okay, like with airplay, like even nationally, like on the Billboard, like modern rock tracks chart or whatever. But I picked this up. I got this through one of those record clubs. I really liked that song. Like back then, a lot of times, it's like, you know, you would go and get like they'd have like deals like buy one get one free, things like that. And so I would always be like, you know, hey, I know one song from there. Let me get it. It's gonna be free anyways. But I would listen to it nonstop, and it was a great record. Really became a fan of this band. Couldn't wait to hear what they were going to do next, and then it seemed like they disappeared. And what happened was there was they had some issues. There was another band called the Sidewinders. These guys are out of Arizona. It's like, you know, alternative college rock kind of sound. And there was another band, Sidewinders, and I guess they sent them a cease and desist letter to stop using the name. And I guess they went through some legal stuff, maybe trying to save the name or whatever was going on, but they just kind of, you know, disappeared from the music scene for a few years. You didn't hear from them, and then I remember they ended up having to change the name to Sand Rubies, and I think a couple of the guys, it was only like two of the dudes were in Sand Rubies, but I don't know. I must have heard that they changed their name to Sand Rubies somewhere. Because I remember being in Burbank at the Virgin record store there and finding the Sand Rubies CD and looking at it and seeing that these two dudes from the Sidewinders were in that band. So I just was like, well, you know, I'll get me pick it up. It's got to be pretty good. I think that came out in like 95 or something. So it took like 5 years, I think, from between this and the next record with all those legal hang-ups. But and the Sand Rubies, that record, it's just called Sand Rubies. It's pretty good. There's a couple of tunes on there I really like, you know, but they just, after that, it just seemed to kind of put them in a funk. There were a couple of other kind of independently released albums, I think, that came out afterwards. I've heard them. There's some good stuff on there, but I don't know, just what happened. It just seemed like these guys were poised to kind of go on to bigger things, and it just kind of, something just didn't happen after all this name stuff. Something just happened, and they just kind of faded away. But some great tunes on here. If I Can't Have You, Blood on Our Hands, Come On Like the Sun's really good. Sarah's Not Sober is really cool tune, really kind of like fast track. Get Out of That Town, they do a cover of 7-7 Is. Doesn't Anyone Believes, really good. Some good songs. Like if you like that kind of alternative, early 90s college rock kind of stuff and you never heard of these guys, give them a listen. Sidewinders, Auntie Ramos Pool Hall. Anyways, that's it for this episode. And by all means, please like and subscribe. What do you think of my shirt that I had made? Platypus Records in Mattawan, no longer there. I used to go to this place growing up, and I was able to get a shirt from, custom made for the logo here and everything. But it's instantly my favorite shirt. I love it. But anyways, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think of these records, or maybe other records by these same bands, or let me know what your favorite albums are of all time. And got one more episode to go, and we'll wrap this up. And I thank you for watching. See you next time.